Hey everyone, what's up? It's little Mandy. How's it going? Yeah, we're starting as usual outside, but I hope you guys all been doing okay with all the craziness that's been going on the past few months. It's been kind of crazy. We literally got months away before, the end of this year. But yeah, this video we're gonna start off with talking about, and this is the final of this series, but I'm gonna put up another series hopefully soon once I've worked out finding stories about it. But it's gonna be basically my stories, because everybody has relatable stories about being cringy and weird, but of course I am cringy and weird 24/7, so relatable all the time. But yes, we're talking about anxiety. I'm pretty sure if you've been to high school, or if you've been in a social situation where you've been at work, or maybe you're not a exact social person, maybe you've grew up kind of in a certain group of people, your whole life, and you never really had interactions with new people, you can relate to this. But yeah, we're gonna start off with story one, like as usual for our usual videos. But yeah, I'll see you in the first story. So, alright, we're starting off with story one. Sorry, the car as usual, our ongoing cars. But story one, we're gonna talk about, in high school, everybody has the first anxiety in high school. Yeah. If you're wondering, like this, this whole situation is gonna be centered around anxiety in high school. So yes, the first time I ever had high school anxiety, like literally was bursting at the seams. This is the first time I had a class at a school. High school, you don't know how to interact. It was at a woodworking shop class, building stuff, and I didn't know how to approach anybody, and I was literally late. My heart was pounding like crazy, and and I was like, kind of didn't know what to say, and I wasn't very talkative. I'm a very talkative person if you are my friends or my family, but if I don't know you very well, I'm pretty quiet, or I don't say too much, or I kind of just throwing sarcasm here and there. But I'm like, if you know me, I'm not exactly the most quiet, but if you don't know me, you assume I'm a quiet person, or nice. But the story started off with me being in the woodwork shop, and I was literally just kind of their introduction, like, this is our workshop, the teacher's explaining stuff, and I was like, in that moment, feel like when you're walking to a class, the first idea you think in your head is, oh my gosh, where do I sit? And the back side of the class, everybody was like seated, or like the whole class, like if you can just imagine a long length of people just sitting there in their spots. And I didn't know where to sit, because I was just like, I don't know many people in here, I've only had introductions. So the first thing you think of having anxiety, you're like, I have to sit away from people, because what if I sit by somebody and all of a sudden, these kind of like voices in your head, you have like these huge voices in your head, you immediately think, oh my gosh, if I sit there, they're going to judge me, or going to have some friend they're waiting for, like, you just kind of throw in all these possibilities that you ruined your chance at making a friendship with this person, because maybe they didn't want to sit by you, maybe all in your head. Most of people with anxiety, all in their head, they think, oh yeah, I'm going to like possibly make this person hate me. So I, as a person with anxiety, I first thought I did was I sat in the middle, kind of like, the back's here. I sat in the middle-ish of the empty rows that were in front of the class, and I just sat there, and I was afraid, like, oh my gosh. But now, of course, like any person with anxiety, you have like a situation where you're kind of like, oh my gosh, I've ruined You know, what if now I just look like a loner? Now I've sat in this empty spot. So technically, your anxiety is literally sitting inches from you, no matter what situation you take. Say I'd rather sit by myself, or I'd rather maybe sit with a close friend. Your anxiety kind of just stays with you, no matter what you choose. But I feel like as a teenager, that's like one of the main things you have issues with anxiety. Oh my gosh, the pressure of having to have friends, having to just be somewhat normal, in your head, because you've seen high school movies. I'm pretty sure you've watched them, constantly just this pressure to come off cool. But being 24 now, kind of just whatever. But as a teenager, Amanda, 17, 16 I was kind of just, anxiety was kind of the one friend that I just kind of relied on with my consciences. My conscience constantly had issues with not knowing if it was acceptable to not sit with somebody, or was it more acceptable just to like let somebody come by. Eventually they did talk to me, but I feel like everybody has that issue. When you get into society, it's kind of like, you have to learn what actions and what things you want to do, and you have to come up with your own consciences. You gotta come up with the ideas of what you want to do, how you approach people, because I didn't really know, because most of my people who approached me, usually it was like restaurant or fast food places, just like normal situations where it was like customer service and that. But to make friends, it was a lot more difficult for me, even though technically a lot of my friends back then were just like, no, you were fine. And people that talk now, they're like, no, you were cool. And I was like, oh great, I went over my head for nothing, like stuff like that. But yeah, I feel like that's the first story I'm talking about. But if you can relate to like situations where you don't know what to do, or like your first class, maybe you're like a middle school, or maybe you're like a adult or something, you haven't really dealt with that. Maybe, I don't know, some people are homeschooled, some people are just kind of getting used to. Just remember, sometimes you're gonna have to just do it, because you're gonna have to learn, the errors and things and issues that you're dealing with, like, kind of figuring out, like literally it's a secret, figuring out if you want to sit on a seat or not, or if you want to make friends, or if you just want to sit by anybody. Just gotta make hard decisions no matter how old you are. But I feel like everybody should know that. But yeah, we'll head into story 2. Alright, story 2. This is back then I was in the first time I ever really been in high school, and this is like a first time I ever went to a school event. This was kind of like a dance situation, and I was like, oh cool, dances. And I was just like, anxiety, beep beep, this instant kind of like, I wasn't sure if I was like, I don't know, like is it gonna be fun, just like stuff that I just kind of went through. Because dances, I immediately think of friends and that, but then it's like, oh my gosh, what if I end up seeing somebody I like or something like this? Just like basic anxieties. Because dancing, all of us, maybe you're like 17 years old, maybe you have an account on YouTube that you're actually just a 13-year-old on your sister's account. If you're watching this, and I hope, even if you have a sister, somebody that's as a teenager girl has dealt with, is being comfortable with your own dance moves. And trust me, I've danced, but back then I just was nervous about dancing in front of people. It didn't seem like it. I literally was just kind of, I'm the kind of person that just leaps into it, and once I leap into it, I just keep going. But as now, I don't really care much about what people think about my dance moves. It's whatever. But back then, it was like, oh my gosh, I have to look cool, I have to dress cool, I have to do this. What if I have to, oh my gosh, I have to dance with somebody? Just anxiety, like, oh my gosh, what if I'm a loner and I'm just sitting at the chip table and stuff? Just kind of anxiety comes hand in hand with going out and doing social events. Maybe you're somebody that's in university and you're just going to your first like club meeting. Maybe you're going to this class that you're nervous about. Maybe you are experiencing this dating situation where you don't know how to handle it. But the thing is, you have to learn is that life is difficult no matter what with social anxiety. But when you're doing social events, that's a whole nother story. But remember, at social events, you're just having fun. You know, have your fun, chat with people. Just remember this very clearly, that people are going to judge no matter what you look like and how you act. But yeah, back then it was an eyesore for me to do in social events and feeling like I'll look awful no matter what. And just general, I was person with anxiety, and anxiety kind of just stuck with me. But as I got older, I kind of just don't really focus anymore. But if you're somebody with anxiety and social, socialing is, social talking is very hard. Maybe you're a person that just likes talking on chat, but socializing in any way, like social events, maybe you're doing online, maybe you're on a Zoom or something, because I assume that's what most people nowadays are doing, Zoom or chatting. But just remember, you're having to have fun, talk about yourself, just maybe even talk about a story that you've thought was cool. Just become loose. Just remember that in the end you're just having fun. But yeah, I want to talk about social events like the dance. I had fun. I may have been nervous at first, but I had friends, and maybe you're not the type to have many friends, but if you become more of yourself, you'll find the right people that will attach. Because I feel like nowadays everybody's just pressured to feel some validation from me, but I just I don't necessarily gloat about it online now. It's kind of crazy because nowadays you just have people who will validate constantly. Sorry, car again. But remember that you're not alone at this. Everybody has those issues, but remember, you are a perfect person no matter what. Okay, we're gonna talk about the third story before I gotta ramble on, but the third one will be our final one, but I will come back to you guys again for a new series. Alright, we are at the end, story 3. This is a final one. This is the final one. This one is kind of like, personal thing. I've talked about class. I've talked about, dances, social events. This is kind of like the anxiety of, this is just the personal anxiety. And this is social media mixed with social media, maybe. Yeah, let's see. Yeah, judgment. Maybe you're not even in class. Maybe you're not even at social event. Maybe you're just walking down the hall. Maybe you're at work and you didn't wash your hair that day. Maybe you, oh my gosh, forgot to pluck your eyebrows that day. Maybe you just kind of just judgment, because for nowadays everybody just kind of judges how you look and kind of like looks at it. Maybe they're staring at how your face looks. Maybe your face doesn't look great. Sometimes I think, I'm like, yeah, there's some days I have like a little bit of foundation on, but for me, it's I've had dealt with a lot of my facial issues, like face stuff, like, ooh, I have this pimple this day, or I have my hair looks wacky. But just remember, in this story, yeah, back when I was in high school and I was walking around, and I didn't know if I looked great that day. People sometimes will give you good compliments. Maybe somebody will be nice that day. Some people won't. Maybe you'll get somebody that yelled at you that day. Maybe somebody will call down your things and whatever. People will find any way to trash you, but in the end, you're just gonna have to, just look ahead and remember that you are you, and they're gonna be who they want to be, and I feel like in the end, you just move on, and strut your confident walk. But from the story ahead, this is when I was in high school, and I remember walking to class and thinking, oh my gosh, and all these kind of, anxiety kind of just follows you any situation, whether it be a social event, like, eating out, or talking to people, or, in class, maybe, or any situation you can think of, like any of you that have dealt with judgment, maybe how you dress, how you look, maybe how you approach a social conversation. Maybe you're talking to somebody and you feel like you did something wrong, but I feel like nowadays you're just judged on how you approach yourself. Just remember, being yourself is good, but always putting your best self is the best. Maybe you may not look like that, maybe you didn't want to put makeup on, maybe some days you don't want to dress a certain way. I feel like at least that's a good example, because I can look good some days for myself, and then some days I just want to chill, wear a hoodie. Like, yeah, Simon Kobe, subscribe. Yeah, I kind of wore this one because I thought it looked cool, because I just literally got it not too long ago. But yeah, just remember, be comfortable in your own skin and don't worry about it. Even if you are going through that situation, I feel like many people who, back then went to high school have dealt with, judgment and anxiety, kind of being the victim here, kind of like, getting constantly picked at. And I feel like anxiety will happen, but remember, when you're in the middle of that anxiety, you have to pick yourself up. I feel like we shouldn't rely on people, but if there are people that's great, remember, the person that's always going to be there for you is you. But I feel like now that we're so many people that know it, I feel like we should all together, pull together as, a team of people that understand that pain and that issue. And you know what? I feel like if we all just kind of give a helping hand and a nice comment and help a person when they're not feeling their best, and just, build a happier, healthier future with bullying kind of being an issue. But yeah, I hope you all are doing great though, and remember from this lesson that things will happen and things won't work out a certain way with anxiety. Sometimes anxiety stays with you when you're older, but you handle it better. That's the positive part. But I'm going to do the outro and that and whatever, and we'll talk sometime, hopefully, when the next video goes up. But yeah. Ooh. Okay, we went through 3 stories, and I feel like we've all had some lesson in the stories. That anxiety comes in many shapes and forms, and many situations have it. But good thing is that as brave hearts, as you guys are, we'll stick together. And I hope, hopefully by time I can get I'm making a new page eventually. I haven't really figured how I'm gonna make it yet, but I want us to make a community feel like where we can talk. And if you're going through anything right now, you can message me in my social medias. I can talk. Or if you want to bring up a story, I can feature it in videos. Maybe I can add it to like kind of a video that I can do. But yeah, please like and subscribe and share the video around. Get it out there. And hopefully, yeah, we'll talk a little bit more in the next video. And love you all. This is Lily Mad, peacing out. Okay, bye.